So today we are gathered here to remind ourselves that if Africa is to be great, it is you, young men and women, who must make her great. This is an intergenerational warfare. You cannot afford the luxury of do-nothingism. You cannot afford the luxury of thinking that this is not your battle. You cannot afford the luxury of saying that you are too young. You are not young. You are the right age. You cannot afford the luxury of saying that you must graduate. Graduate you will. But history has the character of recognizing her bold men and women who are prepared to sacrifice for this generation and generations yet to be born. Are you such young men? If you go to South Africa, you'll meet young people who died in their prime because they wanted independence. Who among you here will forget Tirongo Potts and Solomon Mahlang? Who among you here will forget them? So we are here to remind ourselves that there is work to be done. We are here to remind ourselves that Pan-Africanism means that we who are Africans, both in the continent and in the diaspora, must now not romanticize Pan-Africanism, but must give practical meaning to it. It must be a Pan-Africanism that makes us self-sufficient in agriculture. It must be a Pan-Africanism that allows us to have peace and quiet and tranquility. It must be a Pan-Africanism that allows us to earn the dividends of the fourth and fifth industrial revolution and artificial intelligence. It must be the Pan-Africanism that does not allow our young men and women to go into latter-day slavery in the Arab world. It must not be the Pan-Africanism that allows our young men and women to be humiliated at the embassies of Western countries when our young men and women in search of greener pastures are just going to flip hamburger and work at McDonald's in Europe and America. It must be a different Pan-Africanism. The choice is yours. So let us commemorate, but let it also be a charge that from today henceforth we are going to change the continent of Africa. Thabo Mbeki, in 1996, gave an iconic speech, "I am an African." And when Thabo was making that speech, he was reminding us that it can no longer be business as usual. And that is how, in 1999, a man whom we forget so very often, Muammar Gaddafi, convened Africans in Sirte in 1999 and said that the OAU must change. And that is how it became the AU, beginning with the adoption of the instruments of adoption in 2001 and the coming into being of the African Union in Durban, South Africa in the year 2002. The African Union is now anchored on Africa Agenda 2063 and Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And it is not lost on me that in the year 2013, when we were adopting Agenda 2063, the then chair of the African Union, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma of South Africa, wrote a letter to Kwame Nkrumah, in which he said, in part, that we apologize to you, Osagyefo. What you could see then is what has become true. So, ladies and gentlemen, so fellow Africans present in this assembly and Africans of goodwill and friends of goodwill, When you leave here, let it not be that you have just been part of a jamboree. When you leave here, go and search yourselves. When you go to Cameroon, in Ambazonia, ask yourself what you can do. When you go to Ouagadougou, ask what you can do. When you go to N'Djamena in Chad or Hargeisa in Somaliland, ask what you can do. Because, as one Kenyan said in 1967, many times we in Africa are looking for a Moses with a rod and staff to part our Red Seas, to call pillars of fire, to hit rocks that water may come out, to summon manna from heaven. There is no such Moses. You are the Moses. Thomas Joseph Mboya said in 1967, we are waiting for a Superman. There is no Superman. There is no superwoman. We are the superwomen and supermen. So today, if you came here as a coward, please leave as a man and woman of courage. Cowards die many times. I'm not asking any of you to be suicidal. I'm asking you to be courageous as we commemorate Africa Day. This battle is intergenerational. Play your part, Mwalimu Nyerere said. Play your part. Your children will play their part. Their children's children will play their part. And in the fullness of time, this mother continent will regain her lost lust. So when I look at Africa, I look forward to the day when from Cape Town in South Africa, on my way to Cairo, through Windhoek, through Lusaka, through Lilongwe, through Nairobi, through Dodoma to Bujumbura and Kigali and Juba and Khartoum, there will be no passport. I look forward to that day. I look forward to the day when I move from West Africa. There will be no CFA franc. There will be no Liberian dollar. There will be no cedi. There will be no naira. There will be no birr. There will be no shilling. There will be no kwanza in Angola. There will be no metikaish in Mozambique. There will be no rand. There will only be one currency. That currency, I do not have a name for it, but for the moment, let us assume it will be called the Afro. I look forward to that day. I look forward to the day when there will be no borders at which there are tariff and non-tariff barriers. I look forward to that day when I'll have a bus ride from Dakar in Senegal to Djibouti. I look forward to that day when I'll have a bus ride from Asmara to Luanda in Angola. It can be done. It must be done. And it is you who will do it. That is why we are celebrating Africa Day, and that is why I say Amandla. And that is why I say Maibuye, Africa. God bless you.